Hello, my dear viewers. This is Dmitry the Russian back again with you, and I am going to answer the question which often pops up in my conversations with many of you. And you're asking whether Westerners, especially English-speaking Westerners, will be welcome in Russia, considering the war, the help that America and England provides to Ukraine and all the rest of it. So first, let me give you a specific example of how Russians treat foreigners amongst them, and not in big cities, which is, we have plenty of different people of different nations and races and religions in Moscow, for example, but in a small village in the region south of Moscow, even though it's a bit of an extreme example, but it still shows how Russians view things. I have just recently run into this wonderful piece. This fine gentleman by the name of Temyitan Ololo has just been elected an elder of a Russian village in the region of Kaluga, which is to the southwest of Moscow. He has lived in Russia for 33 years, been married twice, and is a father of 5. As you can see, his children are here. And this wall, this kind of finishing is very, very Russian village type. So why did they elect him, a black man in Russia, rural Russia? Why did they elect him an elder? A very simple reason, on merit. In this article, this is an interview and an article, that he is just good at fixing things. He, as we say in Russia, was going ходил по инстанциям, which means going from an office to office, from one bureaucratic establishment to another, and just by the sheer hard work and perseverance managed to get paving for streets, new street lamps, new road signs, and some other things. He is very, very patient. He comes into a local administration, sits there sometimes for hours, smiling with his white-toothed smile, and he gets things accomplished, So they elected him a village elder. Out of 16 voting, 3 were against, and 13 were for. So that's how it is. He enjoys living in the village, and he's not only tolerated, he's not scorned or persecuted for his race, he is even elected an official. So Russians are pretty practical. Russians are practical people. He merited it, and he got elected. Aren't you impressed? You have probably heard on many occasions that Russians are xenophobic, homophobic, racists, and all that stuff. Well, it turns out it's not really true. In practice, it's not true. Of course, there is racism in Russia and all the rest of it. Yes, there is. And racism towards Russians quite often too. But as far as Westerners are concerned, there should be no concerns regarding this. It is not a problem. Westerners, English-speaking Westerners who come here, they're not considered part of some evil anti-Russian bloc. They are seen as individuals, and they're treated on merit. If they behave themselves, if they're nice and respectful, 99% of the people will be respectful to them. There will be kind of a sense of friendly curiosity, sometimes even, invasive curiosity, too much curiosity. But there won't be people running up to you and striking you with a stick on the head or something, and police watching without interference. Nothing like this happens. So Westerners will not be just welcome, they will be respected, and I would say even revered by many Russians. And I mean those Westerners who will endeavor into the Russian glubinka, what we call the countryside, and those who will be engaged in agriculture in central Russia. There will be a sense of reverence, not just respect. forget about hostility or enmity or hatred or something like that. So no, people are walking down Moscow streets right now speaking English and nobody attacks them, and it just doesn't happen. It has never been like that. During the Soviet times even, there was no hostility towards foreigners. So this is it. Be not afraid. Write to me and ask questions. There are contact details below in the description. This was Dmitry the Russian.